We are live.
Hey, welcome DIY Mixers crew. This is episode 3. Real quick, just wanted to have some news out there. Lewis is not going to be able to join us today. He had an emergency family issue that he had to deal with. Everything's okay, but we're just sending our prayers and stuff out to him today. Hopefully next week he will be back on. So today we're going to discuss vaping news, device reviews, and how to create one-shots today. Some people call them bases, concentrate stones, but basically we're going to give you a little bit of lowdown on how to create a one-shot for you guys that are on the go, guys and girls that are on the go. Sometimes it's good to make one-shots for yourself. So, basically you just add that one flavor in and then mix your PG, VG, and Nick, and you're good to go. Real quick, make sure you guys subscribe that are listening. Down below in the comments, you should see the links to our Facebook page down in there in the links. For those of you who do follow the crew, check out Liquid Barn at www.liquidbarn.com and use our exclusive code at MIXERS Crew for 15% off your total order. You get free shipping after $50, so that's pretty cool. You save that 15%. You get free shipping after $50. Also, for lightning fast shipping, I think they have a really excellent concentrate selection at Bull City Vapes. You could check them out at bullcityvapes.com. Use the code DMC6 to get 6% off your total order. And lastly, my man Ty Edwards at sticksmix.com. He has the world's finest NETSs, man. He threw out a 30% off coupon code for this weekend. You can use it, save 30%. For that.
Use mine.
Yeah, I'm going to be ordering his line pretty soon. So I have a couple people that are actually interested in getting into his tobaccos. I've heard great things about him.
I have too.
Tobaccos. So that's pretty cool. So check those guys out at Liquid Barn. Bull City Vapes and Sticks Mix, man. Go online, check them out. You got some nice discounts for you. Before we move on, though, real quick, last week I was talking about Wonder Flavors. And a lot of people got confused. I guess some people thought that Wonder Flavors were vegetable glycerin based. They're not. They are propylene glycol solely. So they're not vegetable glycerin based. I just made a comment that for some reason, when I did research on Wonder Flavors, I could have swore that I seen some mention about some of his first line being a vegetable glycerin based flavoring. Well, I guess that information was wrong that I received. So just so we're all aware and we're all on the same page, his flavor concentrates are propylene glycol based. So you don't have any issues. And the reason why I made that comment was a lot of people in the U.S., unless you're allergic to vegetable glycerin unless you're allergic to propylene glycol, like if you had some type of reaction or something like that, a lot of people in the U.S., even if they're not allergic, they really don't like using vegetable glycerin based concentrates because they're kind of weak. You got to use a lot. But so just to reiterate, man, Wonder Flavors, good dude, Frank. He pointed it out to me. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. They are propylene glycol-based flavorings. So, real quick, though, today, what are you vaping on there, Folkart?
Let's see. I'm actually vaping on a recipe that I mixed up about 2 weeks ago, a pecan pie. And I'm really liking it. It's after about a week or two steep, it really comes into its own. So that's what I've been vaping on. What about you, Tam?
Well, I hope to do your pecan pie after tomorrow because I will be getting in my butter pecan tomorrow from Bull City Vapor. So, but I like to keep a variety going in my vapes.
You switch on and off throughout the day?
Yes. Let's see. In my Amit, damn it, Amit, that's what we say all day. I have... Hold on. Oh my gosh. I forget the names of stuff. It's okay. More of a fruity flavor.
Okay.
And it's not mine. I'll think of it later. But in my Squonker here, I have tobacco blend.
What recipe is that?
Of course, it's Chemist, and it's the 2YR4 or YR24.
Yeah, Adams. He's a phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah,
he is.
Yes, I mixed up like 240 mils like last week, and I think I'm on my last 60. Like I go through this like.
Guys, I'm getting some kind of sound vibration.
Might be me. I was messing with my phone.
Okay. All right.
I mean, while we're on the topic, though, I know Chemist, Copel, and their crew, man, they're doing some good things, man. I know that they're in the process, if not already there. They're
some one-shots.
Well, not one-shots, but they're actually releasing...
a juice line in Canada.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty good. Speaking, you're going to be getting to the news quickly. You got news for the vaping community. I think that with what's happening in the news today, I think it's good news for them guys, too, if they want to bring it to the States. But, like I said,
yes and no.
We could discuss
and
that.
We'll talk about that. So, but my third one I'll talk about because I just put this in there. I found it. And this is Razzie Rancher from Emily. Okay. Which is part of DIY Crew. I think she's even part of. She's on
IDD
Tuesday
10.
night. Yeah, she's on that group.
Noted? Is that it? Noted?
Yes, Noted. She's on Noted. So this is one of her recipes. It's very good. Razzie Rancher. I just put that in there. Okay. So that's what I'm vaping.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. You want to get right into the news, man? We can keep this moving. And
so I mean, the big news this week, of course. Oh, he's skipping town. Awesome.
That's okay.
No, it's okay. So the big news this week we know is the FDA extended the compliance deadlines from August 8th, 2000. Wait, what were we?
21. I think it was 21 or 22.
But no, we were 2017.
Correct.
Is what we were, and now we're going to 2021 for combustible products, and then 2022 for non-combustible products, which is vapor products. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, I mean, that's like excellent news. But I mean, and like you said, it's good news for what it's really good news for is for the shops that are out there, because I mean, they're not going to be closing their doors anytime soon because there's still going to be products coming in. But as far as like somebody opening a new juice line and selling it in the U.S., mm-hmm. that is not, they didn't push back dates. So as far as that August 22nd date that happened back in 2016.
Mm-hmm. So basically what you're saying is that it's pretty much just pushing the application process a little further.
Right, exactly. That's basically what it did. And I have a spreadsheet, a cool spreadsheet that Demetrius put up on mm-hmm. Facebook this morning. And do you have that folk art to show?
I've got it up there. I hope people can see it. It's kind of small, but I've got it up there.
Oh, okay. I'm not even like looking at that. I'm looking at our screen like, I don't see it. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So this is our current FDA guidelines for now. Okay, so in the U.S., we have till September 30th, 2017 for U.S. to submit a list of products. So basically, there's still no new products that's supposed to come out. I mean, and that's really interesting because every week, every day, there's new products coming out.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah.
Nobody has been governing that. And they were talking about that too. I've listened to many interviews and articles, and they were talking about how the government has not been monitoring that, but they think going forward that might be something that is going to be monitored. However, do they have the manpower and the time and the budget to really monitor that? And so the big thing is probably not. And what's going to happen is a lot of these companies who are out there, and maybe they open a juice line and they're going to be in it, and then come 2022, and if things don't change, we can't get rid of this, or has some things change. They may be in it for the big buck, and then they're gone in 2022. So, but then again, they may come back and say, okay, all you guys that came out, they may come back and say, you guys broke the law and you owe us all this money, you know,
Like,
because you were doing illegal stuff. Because it's illegal, like for us to sell vape juice, I mean, without going through these guidelines, I mean, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I mean, to that point though, Tam, I feel it's just giving the FDA more time to do the things they got to do to get all their ducks in a row.
Exactly.
And try to, I guess, rework some things to actually make it tougher for the vaping community. And to be honest with you, man, like even like where I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, well, east of Pittsburgh, and I'll be getting gas. I think a lot of it has to do with big tobacco, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And I tell you what, I'll be pumping gas in the morning, and I will actually see ads at the pump because they got little TV screens on these.
Oh yeah, that's the new. Yeah, exactly.
And they're advertising electronic cigarettes that the big tobacco companies have out right now.
Well, I think that's the whole thing. Is that I think that's what they want to have happen. Not so much the FDA, but the big tobacco company is have control of this, so they can run it and they can profit off of it. And once they do, I hope we're still out there.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we
are.
Okay.
We're good.
I just saw Steve go away. Because if they can grab a hold of this, and if people do stop going off of cigarettes and they're just doing this, they have the monopoly over it still. I think that's the whole thing, and they need more time to still grab hold to this market.
Yeah, and
they haven't.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, man, like honestly, I mean, I don't know if like, I mean, people that are new to vaping, they might try those cigalikes and stuff like that, but you're getting one flavor shit, to be honest with you, from those cigalikes that you get at the gas station and stuff like that. So that's my opinion, you know.
And you don't know what they're putting in it. That's the thing. You don't know what's in that juice. You don't know what's in that cigalike thing. Like you don't just like that's the whole thing about like a cigarette. Back in the day when people smoked, it was just tobacco and they rolled it. And that's all that was in it. And then all of a sudden they start putting all this other stuff, and there's like thousands and thousands of chemicals. You let big tobacco get control of this market. Who knows what's going to be in the e-juice? That's my point, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really sad. So I have another link I shared with Steve. He's going to post or whatever, but it's a website, and it's, oh gosh, hold on, let me pull it up so I can remember, but it's called fdaregs.info, and it's a really great website, and you can go get all kinds of information about what you need to understand about the deeming regulations and who you can talk to in different organizations that you can join or get involved with, that you can maybe do your part, or if it makes a difference. Since we're not billionaire big tobacco people, but that's an interesting link, I thought, because it has some good information.
Yeah.
So we're going to Steve. Steve, I know you got a new product this week.
Sure. I'm excited about this new product.
Nice.
I am too.
If nobody probably knows this, but I'm a big RTA guy. I like to build tanks. I like the convenience of a tank. I've tried several different drippers, and it's just so aggravating to have to drip. And plus, the ones that I've tried really didn't have that great a flavor to it. So I've stuck with this Griffin 25 here for well over a year. Really like it. It's got good flavor to it. But I decided to try one out. I've been hearing a lot about the Hadley, and the Hadley is so expensive. The clones, you can get a clone. Now, they're cheap. and I haven't got one of those, but I probably will get one of those since I've tried this other RDA, and it's called the Wasp Nano. Wait a minute, my words are backwards.
That's a cool box.
Yeah.
That's a really cool box.
Let me see that again, Steve.
The words are backwards. I got to flip my camera over.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, I could see it perfectly.
I see it.
Fine.
I see it
right.
perfect
It's
here.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Wasp Nano. Okay. So this is what the little booger looks like. It's tiny, tiny, tiny.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's really tiny.
Mm-hmm.
It has a Ultim top cap, and it's got a unique building deck on. I've never seen one like this. It reminds me of a Hadley, but it's definitely not the Hadley style deck. But if you can see, I'm going to try to focus in on this a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
It's not really focusing in there.
It's a clamp system, though.
It's not really a clamp. If you notice those two little
Oh,
screws
okay.
there,
Those holes. Yes.
those holes have screws in them, and then the coil goes right down in those little grooves, and the screws tighten the coil down. And it's got a nice little deep well on it. You can hold maybe probably 3 milliliters in it. And
it should say on the box on how much what the juice well is.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything there, but I heard another review of it, and it said about 2 to 3 mils. But and also it comes with a squonk pen. You can put a squonk pen in it, which is nice, and it's got some unique airflow holes in it. The airflow holes are on the side in the posts themselves, so the air comes in through the posts and just directly onto the coil that's in the middle. And I've got I've got a 3 millimeter Alien Clapton coil in this. I think it's about 5 wraps, and it really is. It's got really good flavor to it. The only thing, let me just take a puff on this and show you.
Nice.
So there's only a couple things that I really don't like about it, though. For one, the top is just so small; it almost feels like you have to put your whole mouth around the whole thing to really get it. You get a little bit of spit back from it, not much, but being so small and all that metal in there, you'd think that it would get hot, but it doesn't. It really doesn't get hot. But
that's what I was just getting ready to ask you. How's it with it being such a low profile?
Yeah. No,
how's it heat up?
I think the fact that the air goes through the posts, that helps cool it down some. Plus, you have the Ultim top on it, which doesn't get hot at all. But the neat little feature about this booger is you can use your own little drip tip, standard 510 drip tip. Goes right on it if you don't like to.
Oh, awesome. There you go.
So
That's cool.
Where'd you pick that up, Bocart?
I picked it up at a local vape shop. It was just an impulse buy, but it was like $25 there. But I was looking on the internet; you can buy them for about $14 a piece. They're cheap.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really nice. And I've got a website here. I can probably pull it up and just show you a little bit more. I'm not going to spend too much time on it here. Let me pull this up. And this just shows the basic design of it. Very tiny little thing. It does kind of resemble a wasp. But you can see right here in the center how the coil is pinned down just by the screws. And of course it's got the bottom feed with the squonk pin on there. But yeah, it's just it's a really nice little RDA. And as soon as I can, I'm gonna buy me a squonk box and stick her on there.
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting, since you're such a tank person,
Yeah.
that you decided to opt out to get an RDA. Now, since you're so used to using tanks and stuff like that, what is the flavor compared to this, compared to your go-to tanks?
It's so much cleaner, so much better. It's you can taste the taste is just a deeper, richer flavor. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, see, I'm tired. I told me and you debated over this.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times. For me, at least, like, I mean, depending on what your airflow is, I mean, there's a lot of RDAs out there on the market where you can turn that airflow way down to get that flavor that you're looking for. But I mean, I know it's a pain in the ass to sit there and drip all day, but it's for flavor, in my opinion, nothing beats an RDA as far as getting that flavor,
Right.
out of your recipe. And that's one thing I love about them. I mean, I do have my tanks. I mean, I've tried a lot of them. Like you said, I have, I think it's Sigelli. They make the Moonshot. I've tried that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pain in the ass to build on. It's a good tank, but it seems like you're filling it up every 5 seconds. I mean, you're better off just using an RDA. I mean, there's only a few tanks out there that I really like. Like I said, I'm a Limitless guy. I really like iJoy's Limitless Plus. Limitless Classic has a nice, holds a lot of juice. I think it's like 10 mil or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like, I think it's 7 or 6 or 7 mils of juice, but it's a pretty good tank.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing that does kind of irritate me about the Wasp Nano is it whistles just a little bit when you vape on it. But
I heard that a little bit.
Yeah,
but a lot of them.
Yeah, but it's
well,
for the money, I'm curious to find out how this compares with the Hadley, or a Hadley clone. That's what I'm going to get next.
Well, I will tell you the best Hadley clone to get, and I've told you the other day.
Yeah.
Was the on 3F Vape. It was what was the name of that? Oh my gosh. I'll put a link on it on Facebook too, because I have it on this squonker here. Mm-hmm. And it is, I'm telling you, I looked on their website, and it has to be 1-on-1. There is no way it is not. Well, I mean, it is like.
All the clones are 1-to-1. I mean, well,
no, they're not.
The only reason why I
have another clone that's SXK clone, and it is totally.
It's shit.
I mean, it's okay, but it is not like this one.
And I got in a debate with somebody about that, about clones. I mean, I have nothing against clones, to be honest with you. I mean, there's some good ones out there, and there's some shit ones out there. You just got to take that chance, to spend a couple bucks if it's good or not. Yeah. And more times than not, for me, every clone that I've actually ended up buying was friggin' garbage. It was machined wrong. The screws were crooked. The 510 didn't fit right. I think, honestly, the only clone that I've actually bought was any decent was, because I will not spend $100 on an RDA. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Derringer Mini. I got a Derringer Mini from my local vape shop, and that was the only one out of every clone that I've actually bought that was actually any good. I believe in you get what you pay for. These guys spend a lot of money in research and development, and they machine these the right way, and they put them out there, and that's the reason why there's so much money. Now you get these people that come in and clone, they clone stuff from China, and they're just mass producing these things, selling them for $5 to $10, and 9 times out of 10 they're just straight shit. I mean, you might get lucky once in a while and get a good one, but in my opinion, I try to stay away from clones anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, the only reason that I'm going to probably get one of those Hadley clones is because I'm not going to spend $80 or $100 on a Hadley. There's just no way.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely.
If you can find one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I found one place that has it for $63.
Really? Yeah.
I'll post a link to that too.
Yeah, post a link, because that's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
that's a good
not too
deal.
bad there.
And that's pretty cheap for a authentic.
Mm-hmm. No, they have none of the accessories in stock, and neither does the Cyclone website where Hadley they sell. Who makes the Hadley? I don't think they make them anymore. So if you were to want to get an accessory, like they have the Ultim top, you can put on it instead of the regular top. Like that is not available. So you just have to get the regular stuff. But I personally, I'm in love with the newest things, the clamp systems with the springs in it and everything. Like that's in the new one. Oh, well, that's postless. But like the new Amit, it's got a spring system. But this is only good if you use the short. What is it called? The European glass. If you use the tall glass that holds more juice, the flavor is not anywhere as good as it is because you're further away from the build and everything.
Yeah.
So you're not getting as good a flavor as you are when you're in this short squatty tank. So of course you got to fill it every like if you're vaping on it exclusively, you got to fill it like every like hour, 20 minutes, however much you vape it. But it's a pain in the rear. And then I love my SMM Serpent Mini. Not Serpent Mini, but the Serpent my mod, and it comes with 3 replacement glasses. And within less than a month, I've already broke all 3 glasses.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that. Like, I don't know if it's because I got gorilla hands or what. And my nephew jacks me off like all the time. When I use my Limitless, I swear to God, I crack my glass constantly, and I had to replace. And I have the Vapor Clouds. I think it's called the VCMT. It's a 30 mil. It's like the Buddha. It's a 30 millimeter tank, and I've actually cracked the glass on that, and it's super thick.
It's sitting here with no glass on it, but I have 2 glasses coming from Hawaii, from E6 City. That's the only place I could find them.
Wow.
And they were like $2.99 a piece or something, and they'll be here I think tomorrow or the next day or something. But I was like, they've really shipped really fast. I was gonna give a call out to E6 City. They're located in Hawaii, of all places. I didn't know that. But they shipped out the same day. I ordered it on Friday when John broke it. I broke 2 and he broke the 3rd one.
Yeah. Honestly, what I've found out, like especially when you're taking the glass off to clean the tank and stuff like that, try to like moisten it a little bit to get those rubber seals, because when you create that seal like on that glass, you start like trying to wiggle it off, and then you take it off the wrong way and you end up breaking it. Same thing with when it's mainly when you're putting it on. What I usually do is I get a little bit of vegetable glycerin and I'll coat the seals, so that way it slides on easier, so you don't crack the glass on your tank.
Yeah, but I was like, only me, I'm gonna break the glass every time. That's why when I get down to my last class, I'll order extra ones. I always do, because I know I'm gonna be stuck.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we lost Tammy there for a second.
No, I got her up.
Oh, I'm gone?
Okay.
No, I got her up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to move on, we could sit there and talk about one-shots today. Instead of doing some live, mixing reviews live today, I was going to talk about some one-shots. A lot of people in the DIY community know what they are, but a lot of newcomers, they seem to tend not to know what they are. So basically, we can sit there and talk all day about it, but it's kind of like a stone. I'm sure you've heard the terminology, a strawberry stone, cream stone, milk stone, stuff like that. It's basically the same principle. You just mix up a bunch of concentrates, put them in a bottle, and it creates a recipe stone or a recipe base in a bottle without adding the propylene glycol, the vegetable and the nicotine, if you decide to use nicotine in your recipe. So it's basically just like all the flavors in one bottle, and it's a one shot that goes into the bottle, and all you got to do is add your propylene glycol, your vegetable glycerin, and your nicotine if you choose to.
Yeah, and Also, Liquid Barn sells the pre-mixed VG and Nick. That you could just buy a bottle of that and
Mm-hmm.
have the one shot, and that's really all you'd need.
So you basically just need two different, like the stuff from Liquid Barn, and then just throw the one shot in. It's a two-step process, and you're
Yep.
pretty much done and ready to go.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Interesting.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. And for a lot of people out there that you know, or newcomers that want to try really complex recipes, there's a lot of mixers out there in the community, the DIY community, that have one shots available all over the place. I mean, you can probably type in one shot in Google, and you could probably find a bunch of different one shot flavors that might fit your profile or that you might be interested in. You can purchase, and like I said, just add it and add the one shot VG, PG, and a Nick, and then you're good to go. But a lot of people, sometimes they'll create these one shots to save time. So if somebody that works a lot, or somebody that's, doesn't have time to sit down and do, put all these different flavors into a bottle and mix up a batch, so if a person has a decent allotted amount of time, they can add these to the bottle, create the one shot. That way, when they're in a pinch or whatever, they can sit there, throw the one shot in, and they're good to go. That way, it saves you the time. Now, today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a one shot for a good friend of mine in Australia, but I'm not going to mention his name because he might want to be private. He has a hard time sourcing flavors, certain types of flavors. He really wanted to try my recipe, but he can't source I&W marzipan. So, I told him I was going to actually send him. Yeah, I was going to send him the marzipan, but he said, "Well, can you just send me already made juice?" And I said, "Well, I don't know what the regulations and stuff like that are for Australia. If you can just, ship the nicotine or whatever, this, that, and the other." And I said, "Well, I could just maybe do a one shot for you and, send it through to you, and, we'll go from there." So basically, I'm going to mix up a one shot for a friend in Australia today to show you how to mix up a one shot, show you how easy it is. And that way, later on down the line, you could just put the flavor in your calculator, throw the one shot in, the Nick, the PG, and the VG, and you're good to go. So, and the recipe that I'm going to be doing is, he wanted to try my Sweet Mother of Custard recipe. It does have a lot of flavor. So this type of recipe is very time consuming, but in turn, it does take, it's at least a 2-week steep. So, if a person has the time, they can mix up a big batch of it. But I'm just going to mix him up a one shot and show you how it goes. And it also helps to take advantage of some of the features that alltheflavors.com offers. They do offer this feature in their program or their app, to where it allows you to make a one shot. So if Steve, I don't know if you could bring that up for people.
Yeah, I've got it up, and all you have to do is hit the mix button.
Okay.
When you find the recipe that you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna switch cameras, guys, real quick. I'm gonna throw it to my scale, and then I'm not gonna really talk about my recipe. Honestly, my Sweet Mother Custard recipe. This recipe is really my vaping style. I really enjoy the heavy vapes. It's one of my all-day vapes. Like I said, I really enjoy it. It's my profile to the T. I mean, I'm not gonna review my own recipe because, like I said, it's made for my palate. You know what I mean? If somebody doesn't like it, they don't like it. Oh well, but I love it. So, and like I said, he wanted to try my recipe, and I told him I would send him a one shot. And I figured, instead of mixing the recipe this week, I figured I'm going to show you guys how to make a one shot. And that way, later on down the line, if you guys want to do it, it's real easy. So basically,
I heard the rubbers.
Yeah, I'm putting my gloves on.
You got to have protection there.
Yeah, even with, what a lot of people don't understand too, even with flavor concentrates, if you do read the MSDS sheets on certain types of flavor concentrates, they do tell you to have I personally don't do it, but if somebody's like real safety precaution and stuff like that, it does tell you to wear protective gear when you are mixing with flavor concentrates also, because you do have dermal absorption on pretty much everything that you touch. So, when you do have a super concentrate or anything like that, it can absorb into your skin. I'm not saying that it would have any ill effect on you, but it's better to be safe than sorry, I always say. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
Safe than sorry. So,
Mm-hmm.
Philcart, what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to mix up a 30 ml bottle of this. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and
Sure, I'll top that in there, and we'll get all of our percentages
yeah.
right.
So I mean, basically, I'm just going to go to the recipe. But if you want to explain on how you do it, if anybody has alltheflavors.com, the ATF app, they can go in there and if you want to show them how they do it, there's a box where you can click. Right? Am I right?
Yeah. So, what is your strength nicotine that you're using?
Well, I don't think that matters when you're mixing the one shot.
Oh,
Um,
okay, right,
Because you're
right.
not adding that yet.
yeah. So basically, when you're on all the flavors, you have the option to where you hit the mix option, okay, and then once you hit the mix option, you hit mix, and then it'll take you to the mixing screen where it gives you your nick base and your finished batch, and then there's an option to where you can hit just base, I believe it is. Go
Yes, right. Yep, yep. That's it.
Yeah, so like at the bottom, like when you'll see nick base, finished batch, strength, VGPG, size, and then right at the bottom of that you will see mix as flavor base. So basically, what this is telling you is it's giving you the option to mix that one shot. So I'm going to click that box, and what I'm going to do is I am going to make a 30 mil size batch for my friend over in Australia. So this. Basically, the total flavor in this recipe is 11.5%. Now, if you scroll down at the bottom, Steve, you will see that said this is a base and it must be mixed at 11.5 to 88.5% ratio in the mix. Now, me personally, I vape this recipe at a 75 DG 25 PG ratio with 3 milligrams nic. So when I send him this one shot that I'm going to mix up, I am going to tell him to he can mix it any VG/PG ratio that he wants, but I'm going to give him what I feel that the recipe shines through. If he wants to do a 50-50, if he wants to do a 70-30, 75-25, 80-20, well, he 80-20, he can do that. You know what I mean? But it's just telling you that it has to be at least at a 88.5 ratio to 11.5.
So what you're saying is the 11.5 will be the actual what you're mixing right now. That'll be the
Yeah,
percentage of the total mix.
it'll be basically when I'm making the recipe, if I'm doing a 75-25 ratio on this recipe per se, okay, you have to make up that extra propylene glycol in that recipe. So I know your vaping style, folk art, you like max VG.
Yeah.
So you would mix this recipe as it states on the bottoms because you like max VG. You're not going to get any more vegetable glycerin out of this. Yeah. So like the max you can do on your VG/PG ratio would be an 88.5 to 11.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But being how that it's designed to be a 75-25, you're going to have to add that propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and nicotine.
Right.
So
right.
And with the 30 mil that I'm mixing up for him, he should roughly, if he follows the 11.5%, he should roughly get around 250 to 300 milliliters of juice out of this one shot. And that's the good thing about one shots that people sell right now on the market is that, you might be paying, $8 to $10 for. Any types of bakeries and stuff like that. It really adds.
Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know we had a little technical difficulty there, just for a few minutes.
Oh. And I don't know where you dropped off at.
It was about maybe two minutes or something. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, okay. Was it on your end or our end?
It was probably on my end. So the stream probably stopped for just a little bit, but it's back up now. So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, getting back to the recipe, I don't know if they caught it on live stream. Getting back to the AP, the acetyl an AP whore, like I said, I like it in a lot of my mixes. It really gives that nuttiness to a recipe that I really enjoy. If used properly, it really adds some good notes to a recipe, especially in bakeries, cereals, and stuff like that. It's really nice. How do you feel about AP, Folklore? Do you use it?
Yes, I've used it some. I haven't used it a lot, but I had created I was trying to create a peanut butter and jelly, and the AP seemed to help the TPA peanut, the Flavora peanut butter, somewhat, because the Flavora peanut butter is kind of dry. I don't know if the AP helped with the dryness or not, but it did help it out, for overall flavor.
Okay. Speaking of peanut butters, not to get off topic or anything like that.
Yeah.
On Facebook, I left a couple thoughts on how I feel about Wonder flavors and the flavors and stuff like that. Tim, I don't know if you tasted it yet, but I really find that Wonder flavors, I think it's honey roasted peanuts. That's a really good concentrate by him, by Frank. It really hits the spot as far as the peanut profile, the honey profile. To me, it's really creamy. Yeah, I like it a lot. Once you guys get a chance to taste it, you'll see what I mean. So moving on, after the AP, I go into a Bavarian cream. Now, this recipe, like I said, I like heavy vapes. I like custards. And what I was going for is a lot of the custards out there that I have vaped, they're so strong on the custard flavor, it kind of ruins it for me on my palate. I get too much of an egg, profile, or too much of a vanilla. And I was going for a more subtle, smooth vanilla custard, with not so much egg.
Yeah.
With the creams, a lot of nice thick mouthfeel and some sweetness that's headed on top. And that's where the marzipan from INW shines through. But I chose to use TPA Bavarian cream at, there it is. Wait, it's not showing me the percentage, Steve, for some reason. Here, doing the batch. I'd have to look at the recipe, but
the Bavarian cream. Is that what you're talking about?
It's showing 4.3%, which that doesn't make sense because when you're actually mixing a recipe, it will show you the percentage on. Oh, is it 2? Oh no, that's the cost.
The Bavarian cream is 4.35.
Yeah, but that's not what I actually use in the recipe.
Oh.
I think it's like a 0.5. I think I use off the top of my head what I use for Bavarian cream. A lot of these percentages are low that I actually use in this recipe. I use it at 1.3 grams for this 30 ml.
Have any of you tried Bavarian cream by I can't even say it right. No. Flavor West.
Anywhere?
Well, either one. Flavor West or Inawera.
Actually, no, I haven't. If you have, if you want to talk about it while I'm mixing this up, that's fine.
I haven't tried it either. I was listening to one of the shows the other night, and they were talking about it, and that it was a really good. And I was watching some cream notes by the chef, the flavor chef, and he was talking that it was a really good neutral Bavarian cream, not too buttery, not too. It was more of an. I didn't know if anybody had tried it yet.
Yeah, I use buttercream also. Have you guys ever used buttercream in any of your recipes? Black vanilla?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How do you
Buttercream, yes.
flavor? Like, what's it bring to the table for you?
To be to be honest, it
The reason why I
kind of
say is that it has a lot of that, what do you want to call it? That butyric acid. When you smell it, it literally smells like vomit, but I think it doesn't taste like vomit, but it
right,
has a really flavor
right.
profile.
Well, it's not as bad as FADX sweet cream, I think, but it has almost a popcorn kind of smell to it to me.
Hmm.
Um, I
You're
don't
talking
know.
about buttercream?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's buttercream.
yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on. After the buttercream, I use French vanilla. I really like Capella's French vanilla. It brings a lot to this recipe.
You use version 1?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, it's funny you say that, Pam.
Hmm.
When I first started mixing a few years ago, I kind of stayed away from all the acetol and like all the version
Hmm.
flavors. Um, you know, because of the popcorn lung scare and this, that.
Right, exactly.
And to be honest with you, um, you know, you know what? The version
Ooh.
ones to me are night and day. I had a discussion.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I had a discussion with one of my friends that's a manufacturer, and he made a good point, and this is the reason why I started using a lot of the version 1 flavors. Um, his first question to me was, Dave, what do you think was out first? I mean, it was a stupid question. I knew the answer. And I said, well, the version 1s, of course. And he told me, he goes, okay, well, those have been around for a long time, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, okay. He goes, but, you know, these flavor companies are coming out with these version 2s with the butyric acid. I said, okay. He goes, well, those are new. And I said, okay. And he goes, well, you know, with the other flavors being around so long and them deciding to come out with the version 2, he goes, they really haven't they kind of like rushed them to market, you know, to
Right.
cater to the vaping community, you know what I mean, with these version 2s. He goes, so there really hasn't been that much study with the butyric acid versions of it. And I said, yeah, that's a good point. He goes, in a recipe, depending on what you're doing, he said, you know, you're really not using that much of a flavor concentrate in the recipe. He goes, so the possibility, he goes, you got to understand with the popcorn lung thing going around, you know, these people were in this popcorn plant. Basically, that's what it was. It was people that worked in a popcorn factory that were sitting there breathing in this fake
Right.
butter.
And
You know what I mean? That they were adding to these packages of like popcorn and stuff like that. He goes, you got to understand that they had no respirators on. They were in a factory. Granted, they might have had some ventilation. He goes, but they were sitting there 8 hours a day breathing this crap in. He goes, and it took 30 years for them to develop something like this. He goes, so that's just like saying that they take laboratory mice and they put them in a cage and they sit there and feed them saccharin all day, and they say, oh, saccharin causes cancer. Well, I wonder why, because they've been sitting there. The only thing that these mice are eating, these rats are eating in this cage is all this saccharin. That they're bombarding their system with it. I mean, too much of anything is not good for a person. So, and I kind of changed my view on the version 1 of a lot of things, and it kind of opened up a lot of doors for me in mixing because they have tenfold better flavor, in my opinion.
yes, they do.
Version 2s.
I wanted to retract my statement on the buttercream. It does not smell like popcorn. I was thinking.
Thank you.
Smells like somebody threw up.
It does not smell like popcorn. I was thinking of a different butter.
Yeah, it smells like vomit. Capella's cream, the reason why I used Capella's TPA Capella cream is a little bit more dominant in a mix, where Capella sweet cream is a little bit more, like if you was to compare the two, sweet cream is more subtle to me. It offers a nice sweet cream to it. You know what I mean? You don't get as much diacetyl in Capella's as you do the TPA. So that's the reason why I opted to use this Capella sweet cream.
Yeah.
So 3.91 of this. If you guys want to talk about anything while I'm doing this, kind of hard to talk. I'm trying to keep...
You know, one thing in the chat earlier, Russell asked about why is it that we think that RDAs are better than RTAs or tanks?
Okay. I have my opinion on that, but if you guys want to chime in.
Well, I put in the chat that I'm probably going to say it wrong now that I'm talking, that when you're on a RDA, that your mouth is closer to the actual coil where the air is hitting it, and you're going to get better flavor. So to me, that is why an RDA is going to be better than a tank as far as flavor goes. And I wouldn't necessarily say all RDAs, but most RDAs.
Okay. Steve, what about you?
I was working on OBS. I've I missed that on the conversation. But no, the RDAs, I agree, have much better flavor in general. But I have tried some RDAs that are not as good as the Griffin 25. And that's why I kind of stuck with the Griffin 25 for a while. It's a pain to wick and to get it right without it leaking or getting dry hits, but it was a lot better than some of the RDAs that I'd tried. But maybe I just wasn't trying the right ones, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel that the flavor on an RDA, I think a lot has to do with the way it's wicked. The wicking being so close to the deck, and then the deck being the way it is, designed with the airflow, and with it cooling the coils. I think a lot of it has to do with the wicking of an RDA. Like kind of like what Cam said, with it being so close to the deck, and then with the airflow design going into the wick, I think that's where you're going to get the.
Mm-hmm.
It's what gives it the best flavor.
And of course, some RDAs are designed to be just cloud chasers, just like some tanks. Like some of the new super tanks, I don't get. That, you know, that's like, what was it, the big King Beast they came out with? And of course, that's when I was still using the huge tank with coils. I'm like, oh, I got to get one of those. Had no idea you had to run it at 200 watts. And I get home with this thing and I'm like, what the heck? And every 2 days, one of the coils burn out. And they're like, yeah, that's about normal. I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. And so that was a no-go. And you didn't even get that good of flavor. You couldn't even hardly taste the juice because you're cooking the juice. 200 watts?
Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I had bought the Cloud Beast and
the V8 TFV.
Yeah, the TFV8, and it was suggested on the coils to run it between 90 and 130 watts on that particular coil. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, what? No,
yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not going to do that. And so I did it like at 90, and I didn't get as good a flavor, honestly, out of 90 watts. But it was just still too hot. I mean, it was just tremendously too hot. So I gave it to my brother.
Yeah, I'm more into, I want to have my flavor rather than the clouds. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of both worlds. I can care less about the clouds, but like for me, like in order for me to get off the cigarettes, I had to have that full lung fill. 'Cause I didn't smoke light cigarettes when I smoked regular Marlboro Reds, just regular, full.
Oh, you did the hard stuff.
Well, I wasn't non-filter, but the point that I'm trying to make, I vaped regular cigarettes, so I had to get that full lung fill, like you know what I mean, off of the
right.
vape. And that's one of the main reasons why I use RDAs, because I get a lot of vapor, and that's one thing. You get the vapor production off the RDAs, and I get a lot of vapor production, and that's what I need. That's what I needed in order for me to get off the cigarettes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That helped me out along the way. Get off the cigarettes. So I'm on the last flavor right now, Vienna cream, to the 1.96. So wrapping this up here on the Oneshot. So basically, when I send this to my buddy over in Australia, all he has to do is shake this up pretty good. That way he can mix up the flavors in case there's any separation, which I doubt once I mix it up. But, that's me too. Like I always tend to shake my concentrates regardless. So once he gets this in and you take it out of the envelope, then I send it him in. And instead of taking all this time like I'm doing right here, it's probably taking me about 10-15 minutes to mix this up. All you got to do is just take it out, shake it up, add 11.5% single flavor. So that's the thing. So, like as I'm wrapping this up, I'll go into how you're actually going to use this to make your recipe.
I'm sorry, keep going. So let me ask this. This has to steep. Now, when he mixes it with his PGVG nicotine, how long should he let it steep at that point?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. This is just like any other flavor.
Okay.
You would get. This is just like any other flavor that he will get. That, like, say, Bull City. It's
right.
Just like how Bull City rebottles some flavors.
Right. Exactly.
That's the same principle. I'm just rebottling the flavors. I'm creating a stone. And people call it Oneshots. People call it a mix. So basically, all this is this now. This in turn, this is a single flavor that I just made with all the flavors that I think I have like 11 or 12 or something like that in this recipe. So basically, this is just one flavor. That's why a lot of people in the DIY community call it a Oneshot. So now basically, when he gets this in the mail, okay, depending on if he has all the flavors. So he can create a recipe in all the flavors, and he could say Shaken Vapes or 007's Sweet Mother or Custard recipe, okay? So it'll say add flavor. Now, there is a thing on all the flavors. I think if there's something that's not in all the flavors inventory, you can actually type something in by itself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You could type it in and say... you can abbreviate it SMOC, like SMOC, Sweet Mother of Custard. He could type that in, and all you got to do is do a single flavor of 11.5%, okay, and that's it. And then whatever DG-PG ratio he wants in the recipe. Now, Steve, if you want to bring that up real quick and just try to do a creator recipe, and then put in SMOC, put 11.5% for the flavor, and then do 100 milligram nicotine, 50-50 or whatever blend, and then do making a 30 mil and using it 11.5%. So you could show the people that are watching on how a Oneshot actually works.
Okay. I will try to do that.
I know on that I have created a base before. It's been a while. Where I had a base and I could use it myself and add it into a recipe, but it's been a while since I've done that.
Okay, so you're asking me to create some kind of recipe to do a Oneshot. Is that correct, Shake?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you had his Oneshot and you were gonna make it, and you needed to use the calculator to make it.
Okay, so we'll name it Oneshot. Okay, so we want to add, let's see, let's make a Let's make a watermelon candy. How's that?
Well, no.
No.
You could put SMOC for Sweet Mother of Custard one shot.
Oh,
Like, you understand what I mean?
Okay. So you want me to search for yours? Okay.
No. You don't have to. Hold on. Sorry, I was finishing up. I was taking my gloves off and stuff like that. I should be back on camera soon. So go into all the flavors real quick.
Yeah.
And then do new recipe. Okay. And then you know how you have to name the recipe. You can name it Sweet Mother of Custard one shot. Okay. So name it that. And then when you add the flavor, just put like SMOC, like abbreviation for the Sweet Mother of Custard one shot. And then that will be your single flavor that you're putting in the recipe. So it's just one flavor, and then put that at 11.5%. So that way, what I'm saying is you're not using all of those 0.5s, 0.1s, 0.75s. You have that one shot. So put that as your single flavor, and that's it. And then hit mix, and then there you go. You're pretty much done. So basically, that's what a one shot is. That's how easy a one shot is. So basically, this is the finished product. I got 30 mils of Sweet Mother of Custard in this bottle. So this will yield right here a single flavor shot into a PGVG mix at 11.5%. This should yield about 250 to about 300 mils of completed juice. So instead of mixing up the 13 ingredients that are in the recipe, all he has to do is just add the 11.5%. It's the stone, and he's ready to go. You understand what I mean, Steve?
Yeah, but when you're adding the ingredients, it's not allowing me to.
That's fine. I mean, people get the gist of it.
I think what he would have to do is go and save it.
There's a
copy.
There's a tab. There's a tab in all the flavors. I know you could put other. If you type in OTHER, it should say other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could just put other, like, you know what I mean, and it'll come up like in there as other on the screen.
Right.
I think that's what it is. It's OTHER. No, maybe not.
When I type in other, it actually brings up mother milk.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow, that's weird. Yeah, I could have sworn there was an option. Maybe if you go in by the question mark, maybe where the two question marks are, I think you could put other in there.
No.
Maybe. I think that's what it is. Sorry, it's been a while since I've typed in other because what's his name? What's the guy's name? That
Q2.
Yeah, Q2. He's pretty on top of adding the flavors in there. So it's very, very seldom that you have to put other in all the flavors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's just the gist of it. You just got to do a single flavor at 11.5%. All you got to do is add his PG, VG, and his NIC, and then he's good to go. So pretty much that's it, guys, for today. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you guys want to talk about before we head out.
Come and visit our Facebook page. Let's post that up in the chat there. Join. We've got all kind of information on there. There's I added a file section to the Facebook page. There's some good resources there, where to get bottles, where to get flavors, where to get your nicotine, VG, PG, all that great stuff in the file section on the Facebook group, and I'll post it in the chat here.
Yeah, any more questions, guys? I know we only have a few people watching right now. Any questions before we leave? Another thing, too, while they're posting any questions and stuff like that, like I said, I just want to give a shout-out to Liquid Barn for hooking us up with their exclusive discount code. Like I said, if you want to visit Liquid Barn, they have excellent nicotine, their flavors and stuff like that. You can check them out at www.liquidbarn.com and enter MIXERS Crew for 15% off your total order. Get free shipping over $50. Also, again, Bull City Vapors, we reached out to them. Real nice people down there, and was it North Carolina, right? That's where you're from, Folker. Real nice people down there. They have a shit ton of concentrates to choose from. They have lightning fast shipping, man. I know I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I know if I order something from Bull City, it's usually here in 2 days, and that's like a 10-hour drive for me, and it only takes 2 days with the priority mail, I think it is, that they usually use. If you use the code DMC6, you get a 6% off your total order. And also Sticks Mix, man, he's badass. His tobaccos are like phenomenal. To me, they're the best in the world. He sources his tobacco from all over the world. He brings it in, and he makes these concentrates. And I tell you what, any tobacco out there right now, I don't care if it's Flavor Art, Flavor Apprentice, anybody like that you can't touch Sticks Mix. He threw out a coupon for this weekend only. It's a 30% off coupon just for this weekend, and you save 30% right off the bat, off of his concentrates.
Does Sticks Mix actually get his flavorings from tobacco? Does he extract those flavors?
It's a process. I can reach out to him and ask him the whole process of what he does. But from what I understand, he sources the tobaccos. I don't know exactly what countries. I might say, I'm going to say Turkey or India. I don't know exactly where he gets
all over.
tobaccos.
I mean, he has all kinds.
He gets them all over the world.
Nice.
He sources these tobaccos, guys, and he brings them in, and he has his own extraction process that he does to extract the flavors from these tobaccos. And I could tell you what, I know for a fact he has a very, very tedious process on how he does this. And he will send those out to get tested for any tars, any byproducts or anything like that, and the tests come back negative. They're all clean. The process that he does is phenomenal. Whatever he does, it must be a sole proprietor process that he does. But I know for a fact that his concentrates are super clean, and they're some of the best in the world. And from what I hear, when people use his concentrates, they're the best as far as tobacco flavors. I know that they might be on a little bit of the expensive side, like whereas I don't know the exact prices. I'm going to say roughly around $6. I don't know how many milliliters his concentrates are.
I think for a 10 milliliters, like $7.95.
Yeah, so roughly around $7.95. But you got to understand, he's not big tobacco. He has to buy this tobacco from other countries and have it imported, to the United States. And it's not cheap, guys. It's an expensive process for him to do this. So in all honesty, he's really not making that much money on these concentrates. So when people say, well, Jesus Christ, it's $8 for $7 for a 10 mil of his concentrate, but he's not making that much money, folks.
$7.50.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And what's that 30% off? Honestly, he's probably breaking even. You know what I mean? He's just.
Oh, I'm sorry too. It's a 15 mil bottle.
15 mil. Yeah, there you go.
For $7.50. I'm sorry. There you go.
15 mil, which isn't that bad when you price line it with.
Flavora, yes.
And INW and stuff like that on Bull City. I know Flavor Art actually just raised their prices too recently. Within the last couple months, they went up a couple cents. So guys, check all that stuff out. Sticks Mix, Liquid Barn, Bull City Vapors. Like I said, we're out there praying for Lewis right now. He had a family emergency today where one of his family members was had to go to the hospital. Send your prayers and your wishes out to him also. If you guys have anything else before we go,
I think that's it.
Okay, guys, nice show. This, like I said, this is only episode 3, guys. And we're getting better and better each time we come out there. If you guys want to share your recipe, what is that link again, Steve?
That is recipe at DIYMixersCrew.com. Yes,
and I will mix your recipe up live over here, and I will give it a nice review. And believe me, my taste is I'm very picky on my juices, so I'll give you my honest opinion. I won't just say you got a 4-star for a reason. If it's shit, it's shit. If it's not, it's not. But more times than none, people spend a lot of time on their recipes, and if they really want them to get reviewed, they got to be pretty good. I think that's about it, right? check us out on
I think
Discord,
so.
Facebook, stuff like that. We'll post the links in the chat and then in the comments down there.
All
All right, guys.
Yeah. Keep
We'll see you
mixing.
next week.
All right, see ya.
See ya.